father, he was very strict father.
What was his name?
Chris. Charisis in Greek. So...
He was very strict?
Hmm?
He was very strict?
Oh, he was strict. We were a belt sometimes. He was belting us because we was 5, 6 of us was very, very naughty boys. So...
And your mother?
Well, mother was not bad. We don't get any smack from her.
And what was your mother's name?
Levena. So...
How did they meet? How did they meet? Did they both come from the same village? Were they both from Vevi?
From the same village, but I don't know how they meet. I don't know how they meet.
But they both came from Vevi?
Yes, they both from Vevi. The family, who was 7.
And they were?
7.
Their names?
They law. Tasko, Tasos, Miltiades. First my sister, Vasa. Then me, Tasso, Miltiades, Pericles, Jim, and Aristoteles, Telly. You remember Telly? He was here.
What about Kirche?
Kirche, very, very thing. We had another brother, but he died in the early stage. He was not even 6 months, I think. A horse, 2 cows, a donkey. We have to get him out just because it's not like here. You have to go out in the morning on the fields and bring them back in at night time when he was not working, because sometimes we was using them as fluff in the little land we got. Every family got a difference, say some of them they got 5 acres, the other one was 15 acres or so. Yeah,
were you born in that house?
I was born in that house, and I grown up in that house. All my brothers grown up there, and we were sleeping in one room. 6 of us, and 6 we was sleeping all together. We had a big. That's not like here, just a kind of blankets, because my mother and the thing that they got the special thing that was doing all those blankets. Because we got a few, I remember we had a few shapes, and I was using I was cheering them once a year, and we used to get the socks, and sometimes it depends on where you need, because we was not buying socks in the house. Yes, I remember my mother was knitting them. Yeah, like probably your grandmother was knitting.
She used to knit, yeah. And during winter there, it would snow, wouldn't it?
During winter, on the snow was very funny. It was going up the hill and sliding down on all bumps. And sometimes it was going and, get the rabbits. Because the rabbits they couldn't run on the snow. And it was going, and sometimes you got something, sometimes you haven't got anything.
You chase them?
Oh, you was chase them on the snow, poor old folks.
At the house, there was a shed to one side, wasn't it? The front.
Was a stable.
The stable.
And the other one was, we keep in kind of we was keeping the food for the animals, you know, hay, everything. Because during winter, the whole thing was no, you can't go on the snow to, you know, send them out. You have to feed them inside there. There was a stable. We got the 2 cows there, a mule, and a donkey. We used to play soccer, but we got no balls. We used to make balls when it was going to, you know, during. No, I can't tell you because in gig we was taking a horse thing. You go with the thing.
Horsehair?
Horsehair, and it was just put in together. We put a bit of water, put under the, you know, we got the stoves under the stove. But was all right if the water was all right outside, dry, was all right. But soon as it get wet, it was nothing. Just horse. Well, sometimes it was making this skies. It was going out the village and the mountain there, near the thing.
A kite?
A kite and what you go say, everything. But we got nothing to. Everything you have to make yourself. We can't buy it, and there was nothing to buy it anyway. What you can buy it in those years was nothing to buy.
Yeah.
We used to play like they play now the, you know, the hockey. We used to play, but we had no ball. Just a piece of, you know, a tin of like any little thing was working with the special sticks. We was making those sticks, not.
And did you play? Were you playing in the streets?
Oh, in the street, because of the. Actually, it was kind of. You know, where you saw the house where I was born, it was the street from the house, between the house there to the other house. We used to be there, one side on the, and the other. We was kind of up and down, you know, it was like here, we got the right hand side difference. And from the left hand side, and it was playing against each other. And one pair of shoes, one was snow. If we can get up and with the shoes, the other ones have to stay on. Yeah, that's a fair thing. Then we used to make, you know, like in Holland, from wood, like
cloaks.
Oh, I don't know what they call it. It was. Banging the wood and one strap on, and one is the snow is not say if the water is very chilly, you can walk because you don't get wet. But when the snow, so that's the thing. That was the life in the village. It was very. I remember. Doesn't matter how poor we are. But whoever was, you know, I don't know, was not we didn't see anything better. That's the way. My grandfather, he was in the, you know, I don't know what you call it there, it just was kind of singing in the church. And I remember when he was taking by the hand, to go to the church. And at the church, the only thing once I remember, the priest was telling the people not to eat, you know, what they call it, some kind of say some days is for Fridays or Wednesdays not to eat any except meat or. And I saw him putting wine and bread in my. That was the first thing I remember. And then we went to school. After, in the fifth year, we have to go to primary school, what they call it there over here. And in the village was 700 children at the school. The whole thing was 4,000 people in those years before the war.
Don't move
in
your
the
leg.
village. Then I remember I got in trouble with the teachers because I was checking. And one day, every morning before we go into school, we have to stay outside and do all that prayers. And it was the day I supposed to, I was have to say the prayer in front of my class, so I refused. So the first thing I had the belt in your hand, and the teacher brought me to the office, and the principal of the school, and he said, "Why you?" I said, "I don't believe you." And he said, "Why you don't believe?" He said, "I saw something in the church." Anyway, it's all this gone. And I finished school when I was just under 11. Anyway, my father wants to send me to school, but he can't afford it, to go to high school. So it was a school kind of, you don't have to pay. When I tried to get in that school without paying, I went there, they put me on test, I write the test, I passed the test. But one day I asked me how old I am, I say 11. They say, "Now we need a fellows to build 4 teams, so you have to work, 4 hours work, 4 hours school." So the village name is Manica, where every family got land, say a few acres or few, what they call it, say meters or anyway. Then we have to cultivate those. We used to cultivate corn, wheat, barley. 1943 was the resistance started against the Germans. They just started organizing. We was going at night time, pulling the telephones, the thing. We was doing some part of the railway lines. And the Germans started getting a bit hard. They executed quite a few people. And I joined the resistance, the youth upon. That was EPON, Eliminikipanelodiki Organosis, NEO, the youth. And actually it was like only us, messenger boys. We was not the fighters,
No.
but messenger boys bringing a message from one part of the thing to the other. Then, when the Germans left, we get with 6 months. The Germans left in September, just before a few days before Christmas. started a civil war in Greece. And that was very bad. A year after, I put me in, it's not in jail, kind of a concentration camp. And it was only, anyway, and I sent me exile in Samothraki. The first few months was with 1,500 exiles there. Not only men, but was women and children. Because my husband was on the resistance, left the resistance. They took their families and sent them there. When I grow up, start chasing girls. It's who was meeting every day. It was going not far away, Nicky's house to my house. So anyway, when 1948.
Can you remember the first time you saw her?
Oh, I remember it was night because I remember the first time we get together. So I was talking with him.
What happened?
Well, from then on we started going.
Yeah, where?
Yeah, no, in the village you can't hide yourself. You can't hide yourself, but that's it. If you agreed, then in the village, you just got a Sunday, you was going outside the village and go do it up and down and walking. I think now.
Well, we just walk up and just holding hands and.
No, the girls was there on a different side. I think we were the boys on the other side, just we was following the girls. It was a different side, and the village is a difference. Then when it starts in 1948, she come here. Her father sent a permit to me to come with Nicky. But because I was leftist, I couldn't get they wouldn't give me the right to leave Greece. Oh yeah, I remember the day when she was leaving with mother and the young brother, Louis. I left for Sunday morning. I remember on Sunday morning. She left.
Were they crying?
She was crying, I think.
Were you?
And, no, not much. Anyway, they left here. She came here in 1948. Stayed here 2 years.
Did you hear much from her when she was away?
Yeah, she was exchanging letters. After 2 years, like I can't get it. That was not giving me permission to leave Greece, so she decided to come back. She come back.
To see you?
And she come back. It was in, I remember, it was April 1950. So I was waiting, in those days was not airways like now. She had to be travel with the ship. Ship was what, 30 days, I think. Was sometime even when it was coming here was 6 weeks was the ship. Anyway, I was in Athens when she came out in the ship. We stayed a couple of days in Athens.
Can you remember the day she arrived?
Actually was 23.
No, but
I was a 15 or 14 of April. Then we went from Athens, we went to Salonika. We stayed for a few days there.
Did you? So you went down to Athens to meet her?
Yeah, to meet her. So
Can you remember first seeing her getting off the boat?
no, I remember when she was coming out to the different dresses from here.
Did she look a lot different?
She got a long dress, I think.
Yeah?
Anyway.
Well, did that surprise you?
Well, I don't know if she was, but anyway, she had. We stayed a couple of days in Athens. Actually, was the Greek Easter. We had the Greek Easter in Athens. I had a friend in Athens. He was a soldier in a village, and he gave me the address. He said, if happened to come to Athens, come and see me, and I saw him. And he come when Nicky was there. I remember he come and he said we go to the theater. Well, I didn't know what the theater was. So I went to the theater with him, and Nicky, me, and my friend. The thing.
Can you remember what did you see?
Oh, that's kind of one. I was not interested anyway. Because we didn't know what was theater. It was kind of ballet dancers or something like that.
Can you remember what Nikki wore that night? Can you remember?
I think she still got that thing. She got somewhere a photo of that. It's a pink. It's a pink color anyway. So because when Nikki comes back, that she couldn't. She lost her Greek nationality. And when the policemen come at our place, just the 22nd of April in 1950, and he said, you have to take your fiance to Florida. You had to go a special, kind of, I don't know, office. It's like immigration office there. And when we went there, they confiscate their passport. And they say 30 days, she can stay here only 30 days. She have to go back or cross the border to Yugoslavia. And on the 23rd of April, we have to get the civil marriage. Just civil thing, just because we got no right to go to the church because she lost her, and I got no right to marry and foreigner. So that's the story. The 23rd of April was, kind of a civil marriage, just papers. And you get the right to do the religion thing in, what was November.
And you did that in Vevi?
Yeah, we did that in Vevi.
In the church then?
In the church. And so.
Yeah? And you had a big celebration after?
Oh yeah, I used to go. The celebration was starting on Friday night and finish on Sunday night. Friday night, Saturday, Sunday night.
And when did the whole village come to the party?
In those days, the whole village was gone. You got the band in the middle, on front of the house. And the village, everyone, friends or no friends, they come and have fun, join in the dancing. And, we had a band on Sunday. It was nearly all day from 10 o'clock because they had the thing every time they was go with the band from your religions to call to call them, ask invitation. you don't say, was not sending invitation, because, but the band was going there and tell them, if you like, you can come and enjoy yourself.
And who was your best man?
Was the solicitor. He done the civil things. Nickel Chevis. He was from Florida.
And who was the bridesmaids?
Hmm?
The bridesmaids?
No bridesmaid there. No bridesmaid. No.
Does Nikki still have a dress?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think so. I don't know. When, before we come here, we had our son born in Greece. He was 16th of March. At the village, he was born in the truck. He was going to Florida to see, but before we get to Florida, John was came out on the front of the sit on the truck.
Were you there?
Yeah, I was there. So instead of going to Florida, we went back home and put him in a blanket. And
Was there? So
it was night time.
Who was driving the truck?
It's a fellow, the one of the truck, not me.
No. And there was Nikki and you. Anyone else?
Nick and me, nobody else, and the truck driver.
So who delivered the baby?
He come out without delivering. Boom, just came, boom, boom.
So who cut the cord?
Now when he went back, he actually didn't went even a couple of kais out of the village. Then we have to go back, and this I was in those days. It's I don't know, like what's called mummies there. You know, like here. There was a special old ladies.
A midwife.
Midwives or something, but they was not for the school. They just was going from mother to, like.
Yeah.
My mother called her, and she come and look after John.
You remember saying goodbye to
All
your
of us,
parents?
nearly all, no, not only parents, was friends and things. I think I actually got a photo outside the house, but I don't know what we done with it.
And they all waved goodbye?
No, friends of mine and, the boys, and it was quite, because it was not only me and Nicky, it was nearly all the village, half of the village went to Canada. My father went to Canada before we come here.
So your father had already gone?
Hmm?
Your father
My father was, one day, there was December, and we left in July. We left Greece on July.
the following year?
No, yeah, that's right, the following year. It was 7 months. My father was 7 months left before we left the thing.
Were you sad leaving the village?
No. Who?
You?
Well, of course you said when you go, you was born there. You get all the silly things you've done there.
Mm. Would have been a sad day.
Sometimes I'm still thinking. Doesn't matter if it was poor and barefoot, but the life was, I don't know, was all right.
Yeah.
We left there in July. No, before July, I think it was end of June. We stayed a couple of days in Athens before the thing come, the boat come, and the boat was called. I was calling Prince Helen. It was June created before, but when the Italian company took over, they changed the name. Hellenic Prince or something, they was calling it. And we was 6 weeks on the boat till we got to Port Melbourne. I remember it was 6th of August.
So the boat trip would have been difficult with a young baby.
Oh yeah, I was going there to get a kind of a tea. We got a special tea in Greece. I don't know, you probably said the Greek tea. When they say Greek tea is the ones we picked up in the bush. A nice thing. I was going there on the kitchen in the boat so they can boil it, and a little bit hard, especially for Nikki.
Yeah.
And you know what? That boat was during the war was what they call it, the Silas
Troop ship.
troop ship. It was 600 beds, but 300 beds for the men and 300 beds for the ladies. It was separate.
Yeah.
It was separate. No, you don't have a guy. There were banks, 1, 2, 3.
So John started his life sleeping with 300 women.
Yeah. John was for 6 weeks with the woman. I was going there bringing the milk, or the tea or milk, what was hot, and was going out to come stay there.
Can you remember arriving at Port Melbourne?
Yeah, I remember when I was coming out. Brother Greg come in. They let him come in the boat. So he took his stick, and he knew a bit of English, and he said, I got a friend, because Stradaway was complaining. The ship was very bad. They're serving very bad, lunches.
Yeah.
It was so, but they didn't let the reporter in. So anyway, came out.
Before you said, did you? How much did it cost you to come? Did you?
450 guineas.
Yeah.
Guineas in those days. It was 25 shilling a guinea, I think.
Gee, that would have been a lot of money.
Or it was 450 was nearly a year's wages.
Gee.
It was, when I come here, I started working was £8 6 shillings
Yeah.
wages.
Well, so how did you get the money?
Well, I get the money. My father-in-law paid the fees. We didn't pay from there. I pay only what I was owing to the Greek government. I have to pay before I come here. I have to pay what it was in drachmas, 1,000,000 drachmas. Still was a kind of a war in Greece. Instead of drachmas, 100 was a millions.
Yeah. Yeah.
I pay for the 3 months.
But how, for example, how could the average villager have paid that a year's wages?
We paid things from the village to Athens.
Yeah.
From Athens was paid from my father-in-law by year to the agent. He didn't send money there. He paid here.
But just say someone else who didn't have a father-in-law who was
Well,
have the money.
A lot of people they come here free of charge because Australia was needing
labour.
labour.
But you couldn't get that deal?
No, I couldn't get that deal because I couldn't get clear papers from the government.
Yeah, that's I understand.
Because
Yeah.
if you was coming with
Your
the
politics.
government, you have to get a cleared.
So what were your first memories of getting off at Port Melbourne?
When I get off the Port Melbourne, I was surprised to see something different. We never had a sea there. We never see a boat in the village. So we're coming home, And a week after I started work.
So when you say you came home, you lived with Greg for a while?
Well, we live at Nicholson Street, my father-in-law, because Greg Louis was not married yet. I was still single. And I had a house there, 3-bedroom house, Nicholson Street. My father-in-law got the house. So we lived there.
How old was John then?
Oh, it's only a month. So say he was born in March, we come here 6th of August. Nicholson Street, North Fitzroy.
North Fitzroy.
And, well, I think a week after I started work. So my first pay was $8, £8.06.
And where did you work?
Russell and McDonald's, Dino Road, South Kensington.
Russell and McDonald.
Yeah, Russell and McDonald was, making the four-gallon drums. And I remember there, when I went there, we can't speak, was the only Greek fellow there. It was Maltese fellows, but it was a small factory, only 13 people, plus the boss. Was two, Russell and McDonald. I was from Scotland. They had this factory. Firstly, they was making, soldering all the drums, the thing. Then I come up. When I went there, it was spot welding and seam welding. It was making thing. But after a while, I didn't know. I put me on a press. I was cutting the tops for the drums. It was white, green, yellow, and he was telling me, I want 400 white, 100 green. I said, well, he was taking me by the hand. This one, this one, the green. So I came out to Greg. I said, please, write the green, white, and thing. So I got the thing. I remember get the thing and I hang it on behind the press. So he was coming, the old fella. He put the numbers, what are you on? 400 green, 400 white. So he didn't have to. Anyway, but in those, after a couple of months, the Chandra said, boys, if we make say 360 drums per an hour, we cover all wages and all the other expenses, lights and but if we make what extra we can make, production, what extra production you make, you're getting the bonus. You pay, we take off the material, and all the other one is, the bonus goes, who was making bonus? I was getting, instead of eight pounds, I was making 14, 16 pounds. But it was a bit hard, but because we went from 360 to 600 an hour. So you was happy, we was happy. When I was started working, he's still there, but it's a liquor shop now.
Ah.
I was working there till, I don't know, the year was when Elizabeth, the Queen, was...
53. 53?
53 or 54, I don't know.
And what were the people you worked with? What were they like?
No, the people working was Maltese, I was only Greek one there at that moment. I got 3 or 4 Maltese. The foreman was Australian. And I think it was 3 Australians, 3 or 4 Maltese, and a couple of Scotchmen, you know,
The owners.
especially from the Scotland. I was working kind of for, you know, fitters or some electricians, but I was working everything, not only electrician and fixing or welding, but.
Was it a good place to work?
Well, it was not bad because I was working hard in Greece when I was making the lime.
Yeah.
We have to get in Greece was a different over there. I was thinking, oh, it's good because I was working on the spot welding.
Yeah.
You have to sit down. It was the spot welding on front, but on the press it was standing up. So.
Were they good blokes to work with?
Well, it's not bad. We didn't have any trouble.
No?
No trouble. We had a tea break at 10 o'clock.
What time did you start?
Oh, 8 o'clock. Start at 8 o'clock. We had a tea break at 10. 20 minutes lunch. And 10 minutes in the afternoon.
And what time did you finish?
Actually, it was finished 4:30.
And did you bring your own lunch to work?
Oh, yeah.
Nicky
There
make
was a young fellow there who was coming to us. But there was the hotel was just on the corner. Just next door was a hotel.
Which hotel?
Well, that's still there. The corner diner right in the.
Yeah, what's it called?
I don't know. I don't forget.
Oh.
Because I'm not going. Not going there.
You
I
never
was
went
drinking.
No. You never. They didn't take you down the pub?
Well, I went to the pub during Christmas. We was going there. The boss was shouting, say a glass of, not glass, but pots, you know, the handle ones.
Oh.
So it was, but not more. One pot, he said no drink. Yeah, it was very strict McDonald, follow. So in '53, I remember the thing. The company, Gas and Boat Company, a bigger firm, bought Russell and McDonald. So I bought that. I sent a fellow to the stopwatch.
Time and motion, man.
Time and motion. And instead of, say, 360, they say you have to produce 460 before you get any bonus. So the big company starts, and after a few years, they build a Coburg one. You remember we brought you here. I bring that to Coburg. At Coburg, because the unit, the drum unit went to Altona, and it was hard to get to Altona from where I was living. You have to jump 2 or 3 times. Train, bus, and walking. So I decided to go to Coburg. Well, at Coburg, then I was making a lot of money in those days. I went night shift. I was starting work there. I was leaving home at 7 at night and start work at 7:30. And finish 8 o'clock in the morning, 12.5 hours in the south.
What was John like as a little boy then?
Oh, John was, I don't know much at John. I was not looking after him. Nicky was looking after him. John was, when we come here, he had a whooping cough. I don't know how he developed in the bout or thing. He was in a children's hospital for quite a while. When we come here, after we come.
6 weeks?
Yeah, I think so. Kokobush, 6 weeks, yeah, 6 weeks it was the whooping cough there. We came here a week after.
He's in
We
hospital.
went to the children's hospital that was at Carlton, you know, opposite the Exhibition Street.
Ah, that must have been hard.
You know, it was hard, but what I can do. Then
And then Helen was born.
in 52,
Was she a good child?
no, that's it was good because you can feed them. The children of the village, they was crying because they was hungry. And you didn't know what they was crying for. Then come on and anyway,
Was she naughty?
I think so. She was a bit. She lost herself a couple of times. When she was before she started going to school, we bought a house at Freeman Street with Nicky,
In Fitzroy.
North Fitzroy, there near to the football ground.
What number?
Number 1,
Number 1 Freeman Street.
Freeman Street, just corner Nicholson Street and Freeman Street. And opposite us was Murray, the captain of Fitzroy, was living there.
Ah,
That's what Johnny get the Fitzroy, because he was taking John when they was as a young kids. He was taking him when they was going there, you know, for preparing for the game.
for training.
When they was training.
So you knew Kevin Murray?
Yeah, Johnny know Kevin Murray when he was young.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's what the John stuck with Fitzroy. And you still. So what else do you want?
And were they, so you were working very long hours, weren't you? Did you worked weekends as well, didn't you?
7 days a week. 7.5 years.
Yeah.
Then accident came.
Did you enjoy work then?
Well, nobody enjoy hard work, but you have to, because we started getting the family, a bigger family. It was after Helen was Christine, then George and Mary, and was going to school. John was going to start high school, and George, Helen. So I have to keep on going.
Border. So you lived in Fitzroy, at Freeman Street?
Yeah, we were living at Freeman Street at Fitzroy, then at Park Parade, North Fitzroy.
So
We sold the Freeman Street. We bought the Park Parade one.
What address was that? What number?
1I, I think.
In Park Parade.
Yeah.
And that's
right there.
And there was just Helen and John then?
So Helen and John was, John started going to school at Fitzroy School, and Helen was Fitzroy. Then we sold that. We bought one at Pike Street, number 14, Clifton Hill.
Ah.
So the school was just opposite the house. You know, you go, there's a Clifton Hill School was on that side. So after that, my father-in-law bought the first, put a deposit for the house at the Beverly Road, the Banyule. So was opposite that was another house, 3-bedroom one. Well, probably you know the house. There was many times that I was telling you.
Did you have all the children when you went to Beverly Road?
Yeah.
Well, they were all born
Yeah,
then.
what was born was.
Yeah, George would have been born when you were in Fitzroy.
George was
In Clifton
born
Hill.
in Clifton Hill.
Clifton Hill, yeah.
George was born in Clifton Hill.
Which is
Yeah.
born in Pine Street. Pine Street, Clifton Hill.
Page Street.
Where?
Pine Street, George Sarodi.
Yeah,
Pike Street, Clifton Hill.
yeah.
Mary or Park Parade?
Mary on Park Parade.
And well, I was working hard over there because I was needing the thing for the kids. It was going to work. It got a bit expenses. Was we didn't was going anywhere with Nicky, so we can't afford. Actually, I got my first car I started driving was 1928 Oxford. I paid my father-in-law $50, I think. They just change over the dollars in those years. I paid $50 for that. And it was all right. It was going to work to Coburg and back. I went there, I had a spice, came back up. I don't know, it was a fluke. With the first, I parked backwards, and he said, okay. So he said, how do you go? You got 5 kids. I said, yes. He said, how do you go to buy? I said, well, I know I can buy. He said, oh. He said, what's your wages? And I mean, what's your wages? I said, the year before I had $12,000. This year I think it's 14 and something. So you're pulling my leg. I said, well. Then he asked me to bring the taxation, I think. And when he saw, he said, oh. He said, I'm a manager. I'm getting only $5,000. I said, yes, but you get white shirt and a tie. You come here at 9 o'clock, at 3 o'clock you close the door, you go home. He was not believing because you can make say the wages was $128, but the work I was doing, I was paying $140. And we was working 7 days a week, 12 and a half hours I was in. So we built the house before I sold the brand new. And that's the story. Then, soon as we finish up and the thing we started buying something furniture. I think I had the accident for my back, and I think I got the. In a minute.
No, don't worry.
When I went to the hospital, I was 21 days. At the hospital in traction. In those days was not machinery like now. I was in my left leg was 15 kilos sand with the trolley, and 5 kilos on this one. And with 21 days was staring at the ceiling only. After 21 days, well, I get up. It was 3 months, I think, before I went back to work.
And this was from lifting something?
Yeah, I was lifting, I was putting the coils, aluminium coils on the roller, so feeding the machine. And I don't know, there was so many years there, for 7 more years, I was lifting up to 200 kilos, pounds was in those days. And the rollers, lifting up and put on the thing. So it was Saturday morning, I remember when that happened.
Can you remember, did it suddenly happen or was it
so
build-up?
suddenly happened. It just, what I was left,
Oh.
the thing, just went wet, you know, sweating all my body. And I remember the fellow was there, you know, on the other side. I said, what's going on? You know, Angel? I said, I don't know, I couldn't move. So I was 21. Then I went back to work after 3 months. Actually, when I was in the hospital, I sent a telegram home, and the nature of your injury, you tell me that in your unemployment. The fellow was in the office, you know, the man, both of the men, and Carmichael and Saul. I say one day, I say, what's this one? He said, how many years you been working with gas? And I said, nearly 31. And I remember I got them on the phone. I remember when I asked him twice, you know, I wanted to speak to the personal officer. He spoke to the personal officer and he said to go home. By the time I come home, there was a telegram. I have to go back to work when the doctor said. And the old soul is still alive. I saw him, he's 90 years old now. I was at a meeting, retiring members last Monday.
That's the union guy?
The union guy is still there, but he can't recognize anybody.
No.
Except short of, but it's still coming.
And just getting back to your car when you got it, that must have been a bit of fun getting the car for the children and everyone. Can you remember driving it home?
The children was funny thing when I had the fourth, we got the 5 kids, was only 2 seats on the, the driver and Nikki. She had Mary in her lap, and I got the other 4 on the back seat. I remember in those days, if you go there was a policeman, was not on the thing. We have to wait to make the right-hand turn. We have to go to South Melbourne. And the policeman he said, don't you think there's too many people in there? I said, what I can do? I can't throw them no. I said, I don't do anything, but he said, don't forget if something happened, insurance company doesn't cover to insurance because you're overloaded. So I have to buy the Ford Falcon, 1962 Ford Falcon. Well, after a year, that's when I was going to work at night, sitting it out. And what's near to the jail, what the street is, the Governor Street. We stopped on the lights. It was two cars from going towards along the Governor Street, and the other 2 was waiting on the lights to change. The light changed, and proceeded. Semi-trailer came over the 4 cars. The Falcon was, the back seats, the back wheels was like, you went over, and the wheels went there. The motor was gone. The light was still on. I tried to get that out, couldn't get it because I fell from the garage, coming up in the door. There was a garage on the corner. I'm sorry, we didn't win. The leftist party doesn't win in Greece. And I'm still Still sorry.
Still,
I'm sorry, we did not win. You know, we're a democracy in Greece, but it's not a democracy. Even when I went back, it's still is kind of a, you know. They ask you, Christians, why you coming here? I say, well, I was born here. So that's a life. And a bit odd. So the kids are growing up. I get married, get more troubles.
You picked the right man for story.